Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody's Taco Tuesday went well. We had some pretty good tacos overall yesterday. I think most of them hit. That CS:GO late night taco did not hit, unfortunately, but the other ones came up big for us. Jimmy Butler over PRA ended up working out. We had Luka Doncic going over his rebound props. So shout out to everybody who voted on those players and their props to make those discounted taco props. Congrats. You guys did a fantastic job. Let's keep up the good work next Tuesday and vote in some more winning picks. Thanks for joining me. My name's CJ. If you're new here, make sure that you're subscribed. Turn on notifications if you haven't yet. You can do that by clicking the bell down below. Make sure you also smash that like button. We're going for over 99.5 likes on every stream. That's always the goal. We don't always hit it, but that's okay. We're always going to shoot for the stars right here on this live stream. And also want to say, if you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, it's a great time to do so. 100% instant deposit match still going on, still happening for you. So if you wanted to drop in $20, $50, $100, PrizePicks is going to match that dollar for dollar, doubling your first deposit when you use promo code Curry. You see the promo code above my head. There's a link also down in the description below. Get signed up for PrizePicks and play today. They got more ways to play than any other site out there, in my opinion. So anyway, appreciate everybody being here this morning. Shout out to Tony Ruiz, member of our Patreon gang. Good to see you, my friend. Chris Smith's in the building. He says he just won $900 off of esports due to inflated lines. I'm not sure what that means. Pimp Paul said he won a $500 himself. Well, that's fantastic. You guys are already raking in the dough on some CS:GO. Drew Bree says, good morning, Patreon gang. Let's have a good one today. Shout out to you, Mr. Breeze. Everyday Fantasy, good morning, everybody. Patreon is on fire. 3 for 3 yesterday. Ready to do it again today. Thanks to the chef and Patreon. Appreciate that, Mr. Don P, a.k.a. Everyday Fantasy. Thanks for being here, buddy. You flexed. I got to flex back. You know the rules. T-Bone says, hitting that like button for the GOAT. Love the early bird specials. Join the Patreon chat. You will fully understand. Thanks, chef and Patreon. There are some real hitters in our community. Respect. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying Patreon, T-Bone. I think it's well worth just $20. Like I said in previous videos, it's just a $10 two-pick power win, and then Patreon's paid for, and then you're basically free rolling, man. So if you can't win $20 over the course of an entire month, well, something's wrong. Something's definitely wrong. Trill Fate says he's in there like swimwear. Yes, you are. You have been in here for a minute now. Appreciate you being here. Tony Ruiz says, good morning, Patreon. And CJ, great day yesterday in MLB. I don't know, NBA Crowder is painful. Yeah, Jay Crowder did not do his thing. Those games last night were really weird, we'll just say. They didn't quite go according to plan, or they didn't go the way that they had in previous games in the series. Both games, kind of weird. So we'll see how tonight's games treat us. Obviously, we've got Milwaukee, Boston. Those teams are tied up 2-2. And then we've got Golden State. They've got the Memphis Grizzlies on the ropes. Memphis going to be without Ja Morant. So it's not looking good here for the Grizz. It could be the last time we see the Memphis Grizzlies this season. Sounds like Ja Morant's likely done for the rest of the playoffs. And I just don't like their chances without Ja. I really don't like their chances without Ja Morant. And Golden State's just looking too good right now. Todd, Live for Sunday, says, good morning, CJ and all. I'm feeling it today. And I'll say this, baseball is so much better at winning. Like the NBA, he likes the NBA playoffs, but I hear you. Listen, the NBA playoffs are tough. I've been up here telling you guys, back off of your NBA entries a little bit. Scale back. Dial back how much you're putting out there on NBA. Try some other sports. This is going to be what it's going to be like for the entire summer. Lots of baseball, some esports, whether that be CSGO, League of Legends. You're going to have some MMA on the weekends to look forward to, some soccer, some WNBA. I mean, that's, what you have to look forward to over the next couple of months. Once NBA finally comes to a full stop, it's going to be those sports that's going to carry us through until the NFL returns. And what a time it'll be when it's time to talk some football. Cannot wait, especially because I'm a Philadelphia Eagles fan. And no offense to the rest of the league, especially my NFC East cohorts, the Eagles got the NFC East locked up. That's what it's looking like. I'm going to go out there and claim it. Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to win the NFC East. Going out on a limb. Sorry for you Cowboys fans, for you Commanders fans. All right? Sorry for you Giants fans especially. But the Eagles got it locked up. King United saying the MLB risk-free entry today. Yeah, they're doing a $25 or up to $25 risk-free MLB entry, meaning you put in an entry of $25. If it fails, if you don't win, they're going to reimburse you. They're going to give you $25 in promo credit. So you really can't go wrong. You really can't lose with that. Now, you could do a $50 entry, but they're only going to reimburse you $25 if your entry loses. Up to $25. Okay? So that's how it works. Let's see here. D'Angelo saying won $140 on League of Legends. Shout out to you guys winning the money on the esports this morning. I was not tapped into any of that. Father Luis says, good morning, CJ. Are you blurry? Curry, are you blurry? Maybe to you, depending on if you did a little wake and bake. Or maybe you're still hungover or something from last night. Maybe your eyes are a little blurry. Maybe you need a little Visine. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to get to the bathroom and get that crust out your eyes. You know what I mean? Give it a little. Get those eyeballs cleared out. I don't know why I would be blurry. But I think that's just you. Over on my end, I'm in crispy clear, high definition. All right? Shout out to you, Father Lewis. Thanks for being here. Not Miggs says, hope you're doing good, CJ. Stay blessed. You stay blessed as well, Mr. Miggs. Let's get some more money today after a failed day yesterday. New day, new money. Love that energy. Divine truth, Allah. Speaking of positive energy, he comes with the peace. He says, let's get it, family. Let's get it, buddy. I see you out there flexing. D'Angelo Sinning says, first time in a live stream in a week. Been having to watch the recorded tapes. Let's get it today. It's going to be a good day. Love that, man. Love the positivity. Kevin says, how you doing? I'm doing good, Kevin. How are you doing? That's the better question. It ain't all about me. It's about you too. How are you? All right. Yeah, we got some Call of Duty, some USFL. Absolutely, Chris. We got a lot of things that'll be carrying us through the summer. Not Miggs asking, will you be streaming other sports? Maybe. I got some other ideas. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I got some things that I'm kicking around, man. I'm thinking about. Jeremiah says, I'm sorry, but it's all about the Dolphins. Listen, the Dolphins can have the AFC, but the Eagles, the Birds, we run the NFC, all right? Let's see here. We got M5D1K saying, hey, CJ, your hits last night was great. Yeah, I think we ended up going like, what did I say? 11-5 on fantasy score props for MLB. That includes pitching props, some hitter props. I had Ohtani going over fantasy score. I had Ronald Acuna going over his fantasy score. And then there was a whole bunch of fantasy scores out there for pitchers. But yeah, we did pretty well overall on those fantasy scores for MLB. Trey16, I like that. He says it's Wednesday. WINS day. All right. You get what he's saying? Wednesday. It's time to win. Joey Jones says hump day. Let's get this bread. Double J. I like the way you think, my friend. Oh, we got another Fins fan in here. D'Angelo with the fins up. All right, I see you guys. I see you. Father Lewis says, I think it's wake and bake, Curry. Yeah, well, to each their own. If you wake and you bake, well, that's your business. I'm happy for you, though. Glad you're starting the day off right. All right, gang. Let's get started here. If you've tuned in the last couple of shows, we've been playing this little game here. You might have heard of the popular word puzzle called Wordle. Well, this one is an NBA version of that. It's called Pirtle, named after Jakob Pirtle of the San Antonio Spurs. Their big man, their center. So the way that this game works is we're going to try and guess the mystery player. This is a little warm-up routine, a little warm-up exercise. Get the juices flowing. Get us thinking critically, all right? So here's the rules. We have to guess the mystery player. We get 8 guesses. The last 2 times we've done this, we've got it in 5 guesses. Let's see if we can get it in 4 guesses today. It's going to be any current NBA player. If you get green in any column, it indicates an exact match. Yellow in the team column indicates that the mystery player at one point has played for the team but does not currently play for them. So keep that in mind. If you get yellow in the position column, it indicates a partial match to the mystery player's position. All right. So if you see something like forward center and it's yellow, that means it could be a forward, it could be a center. Yellow in any other column indicates that this attribute is within 2, meaning it could be 2 inches in height, 2 years in age, 2 digits in the jersey number of the mystery player. And it says if you can get stuck, or if you do get stuck, you can try enabling silhouette mode. We'll kind of save that as a last ditch effort, lifeline type of thing. And of course, there's a new mystery player every day. So let's start it off. Oh, I don't know. Let's since the Celtics are playing, let's start it off by looking at Jason Tatum. Well, right off rip here, guys. We got a lot of green on the board. This player is not Jason Tatum and does not play for the Boston Celtics. This mystery player, though, is in the Eastern Conference, in the Atlantic Division, is a forward guard. So a combo type of player, is exactly 6'8", but is younger than 24 years old. And the jersey number, this ain't saying a whole lot, the jersey number is higher than number 0. But we've already got 4 matches on the very first guess. I think we got a chance of getting this right within 5. All right, so now that we know that they're in the East and more specifically in the Atlantic Division, that pretty much narrows it down to Philadelphia, Toronto, Brooklyn, and New York. Philadelphia, Toronto, Brooklyn, or New York. Got to be one of those 4 teams. All right. Eastern Conference, we know the division. Philadelphia, Toronto, Brooklyn, or New York. Forward guard is exactly 6'8", younger than 24 years old. Jersey number is higher than 0. Scotty Barnes. RJ Barrett was what I was thinking too, T-Bone. Is RJ Barrett 6'8"? I feel like he's more like 6'6", 6'7". OG Anunoby, a couple of the guys guessing OG Anunoby. I'm going to go with my very first guess. I'm going to say RJ Barrett. That's the one that first came to mind to me. Whew. This player does play for the New York Knicks. We are one step closer. New York Knicks player, Eastern Conference, Atlantic Division, forward/guard, but he's taller than 6'6". All right, he's exactly 6'8". We know that. Also older than 21, but younger than 24. And the jersey number got to be a number higher than 9. So this is a New York Knicks player. They got RJ Barrett listed at 6'6". What's Obi Toppin's jersey number? I feel like he's a single-digit number guy. Isn't he? Or am I wrong on that? Cam Reddish could be a good guess. Obviously, Cam Reddish traded from the Hawks to the Knicks. It's not Barnes, Jeremiah. Can't be Scotty Barnes because this player plays for the New York Knicks. We have confirmed that. Listen, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with Cam Reddish. Booyah! 3 guesses, gang. We got it done. It is Cam Reddish, former Atlanta Hawk, former Duke Blue Devil, traded to the New York Knicks. 3 guesses is all it took. Great job to everybody out there. We got the job done. It is Cam Reddish. You are absolutely correct. That first guess of Jason Tatum was clutch. It set us off on the right path. And then there was nothing to it but to do it. So shout out to everybody with the great detective work. It is Cam Reddish. Bang. We got it done. 3 guesses is all it took. That's a new record. That is a new record for today's Pirtle puzzle. Previous shows, it's been 5 and 5. Today we set a new record with 3 guesses. So shout out to you guys. Very good job today on the Pirtle. All right, let's get down to some player props. We're going to start things off with the first game of the night, the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics. Appreciate everybody joining this morning. Slap that like button if you haven't yet. Leave a like for your boy. So what we're going to do is use props.cash here. We're going to look at the points column, points category. We're going to look at the playoffs and see how these players have done throughout the playoff games. Look at their hit rates from the playoffs. And we're going to start with the Milwaukee and Boston game. So just looking at today's points props, I mean, Jason Tatum's leading the way at 28.5 points with a 62.5% hit rate. He's got the highest hit rate for his points prop of any of the players on the board. I know he's had his struggles in this series, but 62.5%. And then you got Giannis at 31.5 at a 55.6% hit rate. You got Wesley Matthews at 5.5 points. We're getting him at 6 on PrizePicks, so a little bit more expensive on PrizePicks. But he's got a 55.6% hit rate. Brolo, Big Brook Lopez, 55.6% hit rate as well. Al Horford, who had a fantastic game the last time we saw him play. 14.5 on PrizePicks, 13.5 on the books. He's got a 50% hit rate. Now we got to keep an eye out on Robert the Time Lord Williams. Sounds like Time Lord's going to be out, potentially. He's questionable. I think he missed the last game, right? And that was the game Al Horford went absolutely bonkers, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, 30 points. So Horford's had 22 and 30 in his last 2 games. From there, you got Grayson Allen at 44%, Marcus Smart at 43%, Drew Holiday at just 33%, and Jaylen Brown all the way down at the bottom with the lowest hit rate of anybody's point prop from this game at just 25%. Peso saying, I've been screaming Cam Reddish like I'm a grandparent watching Jeopardy. I appreciate it, man. You were right. Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish was the move. He was absolutely the correct answer. What point props are you guys wanting to take a look at? I mean, should we just start with the stars here? Should we start with the guy who's got the highest hit rate? Let's do it, man. Let's look at Jason Tatum. Been a little hard to trust Jason Tatum. He's kind of been, up or down so far in this series. But let's start there. Let's see if Jason Tatum's got a little good game in him tonight, potentially going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. We've seen what he's done in the playoffs. He's 5 for 8, 63%. He is coming off of a 30-point game against the Milwaukee Bucks. So far in this series, like I said, it's been a little up or down for Jason Tatum. He started game 1 with 21. Kind of a down game for him there. 29 points in game 2. Fell all the way down. Had a horrible game 3 with just 10 points. And then he perks back up here with 30 points in his last game. So just take a look at his minutes. He's been pretty steady across the board in all 4 games. He's playing 40 plus minutes. A lot of the times he's playing more than 41 minutes, hitting 42 in some of these games. The field goal attempts are pretty healthy there, 18, 20, 19, and 24. So he's attempting plenty of shots, right around 20 per game, we'll call it. I like him shooting 24 times, especially if we're thinking about taking the over on its points prop. If he's going to shoot 20 plus times, I like that. I'm here for that. Taking a look at his 3-point attempts, I like him shooting 10 threes as well. He went 0 for 6 in game 3, came back with 3 for 10. Not the greatest percentage, but the fact that he's taken that many shots is a good sign for me. Hopefully he does that again tonight. Now, his free throw attempts, those also kind of shot back up in game 4. They were down a little bit after game 1 where he took 8. Went down to 5 and 3, and then they kind of popped back up at 6. So I like what I'm seeing out of Jason Tatum. I hope we get more of what we got in game 4. Right? If he's going to shoot 20 plus times, if he's going to jack up 10 threes, if he's going to get to the free throw line right around 8 to 10 times, then I think he's going to be in a pretty good spot to hit his points prop. So let's jump ahead. Let's get you a projection on Jason Tatum's points here. They got him projected for 32, which to me sounds a little high. Don't you agree? 32 points, maybe a little too rich on Jason Tatum. I'll tell you this, at 28.5 points, the betting public, they're not feeling very confident in Tatum. They're betting the under. What are you guys thinking? Jason Tatum, over or under tonight? Al Horford. Everybody wants to talk Al Horford. And how could we not want to talk about Al Horford? Like I said, the last 2 games have been very good for Big Al. 14.5 points is his prop line tonight. Let's go look at Horford here. Let's get down to the bottom of this. What has gotten into Al Horford over the last couple of games? We got to figure it out, right? Because the first 2 games were not good in this series. He had 12 points and 11 points, going under 14.5 pretty easily. But then in games 3 and 4, things have suddenly changed. Does he like playing in Milwaukee? Is he better on the road? I don't know. He's definitely getting more involved in the offense, but game 3 had 22 points. Game 4, that massive 30-point game. Now, let's take a look at Al Horford's minutes because he is getting more run, more minutes out on the court. Went from 36 in game 1 to 37 in game 2, then 39 and 41. So he has seen a minutes increase game over game in every game in this series. So if he's going to be out there for 40-plus minutes again tonight, then I think we have to feel pretty good about Al Horford's chances of finding 15 points. His field goal attempts also up. Games 1 and 2, 11 and 9 shots. Games 3 and 4, 17 and 14. So we could get him up there around 15 shots again tonight. He shoots a pretty darn good percentage. 79% in game 4, 53% in game 3. So if he's going to be shooting 15 plus times and converting on 50+% of his shots, then I like his chances tonight. Now his 3-point attempts, and especially the makes, have been very good in games 3 and 4. I mean, 4 for 7, 57%, 5 for 7, 71%. Do we think that this hot shooting continues? I mean, he's shooting at very, very good percentages here for any player, really. Not just for a power forward / center, but for any player. If you told me a point guard was making 4 for 7, a shooting guard was making 5 for 7, I would say, damn. So I don't know. Maybe Al Horford's destined to come crashing back down to earth tonight. We don't know anything. We're just going to try and do our best to figure out this puzzle, right? And then Al Horford's free throw attempts in game 4 were the most that he's attempted through any playoff game in this playoff run this season. He shot 4 free throw attempts and made 3 out of 4, which also marked a high for makes. So definitely hot shooting from beyond the arc in the last 2 games, 4 for 7 and 5 for 7. I think that's been a key component to Al Horford hitting his points prop. We've seen the minutes increase game over game in all 4 games so far. So if he's going to keep getting 40-plus minutes, man, I think he's going to have a pretty good shot at hitting the over at 14.5. Let's go get a projection for you on Al Horford's points. He's projected for 13.6, which is less than 14.5. Guys, you are paying somewhat of a premium for Al Horford at 14.5. I say that because on PrizePicks, he's 14.5, but on all your other major sports books, he's at 13.5. I think we could all agree that we wish he was at 13.5. Some books have him at 14.5. When we scroll over here, you can see some of these smaller, lesser known sports books have him at 14.5. On those books, the public is betting the under on Al Horford, minus 130, under 14.5. So despite the fact that we're paying a little bit more at 14.5 points, are we liking Al Horford's points tonight for the over? You think he still goes over 15 points or more? I wish we got it at 13.5, but I think there's still a chance here if he, again, plays 40-plus minutes. I don't know if he can sustain shooting as hot as he's been shooting from beyond the arc. I just don't know if it's sustainable. Might be a little bit more of a sweat tonight for Al Horford at 14.5. What do you guys think? Trey16 thinks it's going to be more of a Jaylen Brown and Grant Williams kind of night. A lot of people were on Grant Williams last game, and I was like, I don't know about that. I kind of cooled my jets on it. A lot of folks were taking Grant Williams. I will say this, that once Robert Williams was ruled out, I warmed up to Grant Williams a little bit more, but ultimately did not end up having him in any of my entries. Grant Williams, I think, kind of disappointed some folks. I think he ended up disappointing some people. So Jaylen Brown I could probably get on board with. I know he hasn't been great as far as hitting his points prop. Hasn't been great at getting the job done at 24.5 points, but let's just take a peek here at Jaylen Brown. You can kind of see what he's been up to in the playoffs. Just 2 for 8 so far, 25% hit rate. This series against Milwaukee, he is now 50% Game 1, terrible game, 12 points. Games 2 and 3, played much better, 30 and 27 points. But game 4, he had 18. So just like Jason Tatum, it's been kind of hard to trust Batman, Jason Tatum, and Robin, Jaylen Brown, right? It's been kind of hard to trust these guys. They've been inconsistent in this series so far. You never really know what you're going to get with these guys on any given night against this Milwaukee Bucks squad. Let's just take a look a little further here at Jaylen Brown and what he's been up to. The minutes have been fine. Through the first 3 games, he played 38 plus minutes. Now, game 4, he only played 32, so you're going to take 6 minutes, 7 minutes away from him. The opportunities are not going to be there, and you can kind of see what happened. Played less minutes, also shot the ball way less, just 11 attempts, 5 for 11 in game 4. What we need him to do is shoot 15 plus times like he did in games 2 and 3 when he hit his points prop. He also shot the ball really well, 61% and 50% from the field in those games. Game 2 especially, he shot 10 3-pointers, went 6 for 10. So that's what I'm saying about Al Horford. These guys are shooting 60+% from 3-point land. I don't know if it's sustainable. I could see a scenario where Al Horford just doesn't, shoot 50 or 60% tonight from 3-point land. I could totally see that happening. I mean, Milwaukee's going to have to make some adjustments, right? They're going to have to try and do something, change something up. They can't keep letting Al Horford kill them. Or maybe they can. Maybe they're like, Al Horford, you eat. We're not going to let Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown do their thing. But Al Horford, you can have all the points you want. Maybe that's their strategy. Maybe they're daring Al Horford to continue to beat them, hitting those corner threes and stuff. I mean, he keeps knocking them down. And if he keeps knocking them down, at some point, the defense is going to have to step up and respond, right? Anyway, Jaylen Brown here, kind of see what he's been up to. The 3-pointer attempts are down in games 3 and 4. What has been up, though, for him in games 3 and 4 are his free throw attempts. So maybe that's a new trend for him. Maybe we look at him for a free throw prop if he's up on the PrizePicks board. But yeah, ideally we'd like to see him playing more than 32 minutes like he did in the last game. He's got to have 38 to 40 minutes and shoot the ball more. He did not shoot the ball a whole lot in game 4. So jumping ahead here, taking a look at a projection for Jaylen Brown's points. He is at 24.5, but projecting for 26.5. And at 24.5 out on the sports books, we're seeing some indecisiveness, right? Some indecision here. 24.5 on DraftKings, they're betting the over. 24.5 on FanDuel, they're betting the under. Then on BetMGM, they're betting the over. So, I mean, they're all over the place. They're not sure what to make of Jaylen Brown, and I kind of feel the same way. Feels like the playoffs in a nutshell, right? You're on a guy for one game, and then, he goes off, and then the next game you go back to him, and no, he's having a bad night. So that's the playoffs, man. That's the way it goes. What are we thinking for the Milwaukee Bucks side of things? We have not talked any Milwaukee Bucks. Is there any points props from the Bucks side of things that you guys are liking? Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday potentially, Brook Lopez. We talked about our star, my man Playoff P, Pat Connaughton. Pat Connaughton's not up on the board. Neither is Bobby Portis, but we talked about the last time we did one of these streams discussing the Bucks and Celtics. I said if Pat Connaughton's going to keep getting 30-plus minutes, all his props are too low. And I think Pat Connaughton hit on a lot of his props because he ended up playing around 30-plus minutes. So hopefully we get some Pat Connaughton props up at some point, because I'm going to go back to him if those lines look low again. Not Migs, you're saying Grayson Allen, huh? You're liking some Grayson Allen at 8.5 points? Jeremiah saying going back to Giannis. All right. Let's start with Grayson Allen real quick. Grayson Allen, he's not Pat Connaughton, but he did have himself a pretty good little game in previous games. Like game 1 specifically, had 11 points. But the last 3 games, he's kind of been faltering, floundering, right? At 8.5 points, he's gone over in 3 straight games against the Boston Celtics. But he has had some shine. He has had some moments. throughout this playoff run, especially against Chicago. 22, 27, 13. But since this series has began, he hasn't hit his points prop of 8.5 since game 1. So let's take a look at the last 3 games for Grayson Allen. His minutes are usually right around 28. We'll call it 25 to 30, just as a little window, as a, spectrum. 25 to 38 or 25 to 30 minutes per game throughout the first 4 games of this series. The last 3 games are the ones where he's missed his prop. I mean, Grayson Allen is just not shooting the ball quite enough for my taste. Game 2, he shot 4 times. He was 2 for 4. Game 3, he only shot 3 times and was 0 for 3. And then finally, Game 4, the most recent game, he was just 3 for 7. I like this Grayson Allen when he's shooting 10 to 12 times per game like he was against Chicago. But this guy here who's shooting 4, 3, that's not going to get it done. That's not going to inspire confidence. Most of his shots are coming from beyond the arc. He's kind of a specialist as far as where he gets buckets. It's typically from the 3-point line. 0 for 1 from 3 in game 2. 0 for 3 in game 3. And just 1 for 4 in game 4. So he's just not shooting the ball a lot. And when he is shooting, he's not making shots. And he's not a big free throw type of guy either. So I don't know if I trust Grayson Allen. It's basically what I'm getting at. I would much rather see Pat Connaughton at like 9.5 or 10.5 points. I'd feel better about taking the over on him just based on what we're seeing transpire from this Milwaukee Bucks squad and who's getting minutes, who's getting opportunities. I'll probably wait for some Pat Connaughton props to drop before I would take Grayson Allen. But if you're feeling good about Grayson Allen, he is projected for 11.2 points. He's a slight betting favorite to go over on some sites, slight betting favorite to go under on some sites. So I ain't really going Grayson Allen. Not Mick says, I've been watching Grayson Allen since Duke. Shout out to the Blue Devils. Giannis. We got to talk about Giannis, right? 31.5 points today. He's going to be somebody that I think a lot of people are going to look towards. This game is going back to Boston. Back to Boston tonight. Taking a look at Giannis over the last 2 games. 42 points and 34 points. He started off the series a little slow, we'll call it. 24 points in game 1, 28 points in game 2. So he started off 0 for 2 at 31.5 points, but has since clapped back with 42 and 34 in the last 2 games. I kind of mentioned this in the last stream that we did talking about the Bucks and Celtics. I said Giannis was just overlooked, we'll say, for the MVP award. I expect an aggressive Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he did come out aggressive, and he did come out and hit his points prop at 31.5. We seen Giannis at 41.1 minutes the last time he took the floor. That's more minutes than he's played in any of the previous games in the series. So hopefully he's back up around 40 minutes again tonight as they come back to the Boston Gardens, right? If he's going to play 40-plus minutes, I'm feeling good about Giannis. Look at the field goal attempts for Antetokounmpo over the last couple games. My man is shooting 30-plus shots. He needs 32 points. He's shooting the ball 30 and 32 times. If he continues to shoot the ball 30-plus times, how do you not keep going back to his point prop? 30 or more opportunities. And we know that most of his shots are coming from like mid-range, free throw line area, close to the basket. So they're typically pretty high percentage shots. 53% in game 3, 44% in game 4. Like, how do you not go back to this guy knowing that he's going to shoot 30 plus times? Well, we don't know, but we're assuming he's going to keep shooting the ball a lot. Let's just say we assume he's going to shoot the ball 30 plus times tonight. How do you not go back to it? Being that he's shooting so many shots. I like it, man. I don't know. 3-point attempts, that's not really his thing. He's going to shoot them, but he's not going to make a whole lot of them. I'd like to see him maybe scale back a little bit on the 3-point takes, play closer to the basket. His free throw attempts over the last couple of games have been in double digits. We've now seen him attempt 11 or more free throws in 3 out of 4 games in this series. I'd like to see his percentage come up a little bit, though. 6 for 11 in game 1, 5 for 9 in game 2, 6 for 11 in game 4. Like, I would prefer him to be up there around 70%. I know he's probably not satisfied, not happy, shooting 56%, 55% from the free throw line. I hope he gets to the line again 10 plus times, and I hope that percentage comes up to about 70 or more. But yeah, you're telling me this guy's going to shoot the ball 30 plus times. I'm telling you, I think the over would be the way that I would want to go on his prop. Giannis projecting for about 37.4 points at 31.5. He is a betting favorite on a site like DraftKings to go over. But then you go over to BetMGM and you look at their sportsbook at 31.5 points. He's a betting favorite to go under. So it's a toss-up here. The betting public, if you're looking to tail the betting public, they're all over the place. They don't know what to do with this prop. But I like the opportunities that I'm seeing for one of the better players in the league. 30 plus field goal attempts, double-digit free throw attempts. Just got to get those percentages up just a hair and we'll be fine. He'll have a 40-point game if he can get his percentages up just a hair, just a hair. Yeah says, good vibes. First time in the stream. Appreciate you being here. Thank you to Kevin Dufresne, by the way, for subscribing. Appreciate you subbing to the channel. Any other point props that we're liking here? I think for me, I don't know if I trust Drew Holiday. He's been kind of flaky. Not sure that I love that. I mean, Wes Matthews, he's pretty much a 3-and-D type of guy this stage in his career. Maybe he knocks down 2 threes. Ends up with 6 or more points. Brook Lopez, he's been kind of hard to trust for points. Got him, Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, fill-in minutes at the front court. Obviously, Giannis. Isaac says, drop a like for CJ the working man. Yeah, that's right. Drop a like, baby. But yeah, I don't know that I'm really touching any of these other Milwaukee Bucks point props until maybe we see our man, playoff P, Pat Connaughton. So, let's move on to the late game. We got the Golden State Warriors against the Memphis Grizzlies. Grizzlies are going to be without Ja Morant once again, which does not bode well for their chances of survival in this series. Golden State's up 3-1. They've got Memphis on the ropes. Listen, it's one knockout punch away from sending the Memphis Grizzlies home. You think the Dubs get it done tonight? Do you think they come in and just beat up and whoop up on the Memphis Grizzlies? If you do think that, who do you think has a big game? I mean, it's been hard not to love Steph Curry. He's now up to 28.5 points. We were getting him at 26.5 points a couple games back, but for good reason. I mean, he's been scoring the ball very well throughout the playoffs. Tends to score very well against Memphis without Ja Morant, too. So there's that. He's definitely going to be a contender. I mean, Jordan Poole sitting down here at 19.5. Anytime I see Jordan Poole's points below 20, gets my attention. 19.5 points. Was there anybody else from Golden State or Memphis? I mean, I'm going to talk about Curry. I don't care what you guys say. I think we need to talk about this guy. Just look a little closer at Steph Curry because I think he'll be a popular option for a lot of people. I think they will go to Steph Curry. But I will say this. His prop line is up a bit at 28.5. Now, back when we were getting him at 26.5, boy, was that looking sweet, right? But he's now up to 28.5, and things still look more sweet than sour. But I can understand some people being a little hesitant to take the over on Curry at 28.5. You see what he's done throughout the playoffs, though. 5 for 9. We could kind of throw away this first game here against Denver. That was his first game back after about a month layoff. So I throw that one aside. So really, he's got 5 hits, 3 misses since that first game back. He's doing a pretty good job overall. Against Memphis in this series, games 1 and 2, he went under. Games 3 and 4 have been very good for Curry, 30 and 32 points in those last 2 games. So let's just take a quick glance. His minutes are actually kind of down. Game 3 especially, he played about 35 minutes. Game 4, he was back up to 37.7. Despite the minutes kind of being down, you could see what he did in Game 3. He shot 7 for 14. Not a great three-point percentage, 2 for 8. But he got to the free throw line 14 times and made all 14 of his free throws. So didn't shoot the ball a whole lot in game 3, but still managed to get the job done, being that he was 14 for 14 from the line. But if he's going to keep shooting the ball 25 times a game, he'll always have a shot at 30 points. I mean, 14 3-point attempts, nuts. The volume he's getting right now is crazy. So if he's going to keep getting that volume tonight, then I think he's going to be right around that 25 to 30 point range. As far as the projection goes, I got him projected for 29 points. That seems like a pretty good projection. That one doesn't seem like it's off the rails or anything. I wish we were getting him at 27.5 on PrizePicks, but not the case today. We're getting a higher number at 28.5. At 27.5, they're betting the over. At 28.5, they, meaning the public, real human beings with real money in their hand, are betting the under at 28.5. You guys feeling good about Curry at 28.5, like an over, or are you taking the under on Curry? Miggs is saying under. I feel you, man. Matt says that Curry is a sweat. Most of those points are going to be coming late in the fourth quarter. Isaac saying Curry was saying that it felt like he was traded to the Kings. What is that? I don't understand that quote. What does that mean? When did he say that? That he felt like he was traded to the Kings? I missed that one. Anyway, sounds like a lot of you guys are not trusting much from this game. So we'll move on from the points props. You guys aren't really liking a whole lot. So we'll move on to the assist props. What assist props you guys liking for tonight? Any of these guys making any noise for you, standing out to you? We'll start with the Milwaukee-Boston game. Taking a look at the assist props there. Giannis is leading the way at 6.5 assists. He's got the highest hit rate through the playoffs, 66.7%. Jason Tatum sitting out there at 5.5 dimes, 62.5%. From there, it's been hard to trust any of these guys. I mean, Drew Holiday at 6.5, 44%. Jaylen Brown at 4.5, just 37%. Even Marcus Smart at 6.5 assists, who's been pretty good at dropping dimes, just a 28.6% hit rate through the playoffs. And then you got Al Horford at 3.5. Not up on the PrizePicks board, but just a 12.5% hit rate. Let's take a look at something real quick for this Boston and Milwaukee team. Guys, if you have not checked out NBA.com yet, I highly recommend that you do. And the reason is they have this handy little category here. It's called potential assists. Potential assists. Think of this as like, I guess in terms of field goal attempts, right? Well, they also have a category for potential assists. And we could take a look at both of these teams real quick and just see who's leading their team in the playoffs so far in potential assists. We'll start with the Boston Celtics. We click run it. And the guy that's leading the way throughout 8 playoff games in potential assists is Jason Tatum. At 13.4 potential assists, he is by far the number one guy on the Boston Celtics in potential assists. Behind him is Marcus Smart at 10.6 potential assists. Now we could take this a step further and look at how they've done in this series against Milwaukee. So you just go to versus opponent. You go down to the Milwaukee Bucks and then click run it. And we pretty much kind of see the same thing. Holds true here. Jason Tatum's leading the way in potential assists at 13. So if you wanted to take Tatum over assists, that wouldn't be a bad look. If he's averaging 13 potential assists, he needs to basically convert on 6. So he needs to go 6 of 13, right? That's not terrible. He doesn't even need to be 50%, in other words, on his potential assists. Marcus Smart, he's averaging about 12, we'll call it, potential assists per game in this series so far. So he would need to go like 7 for 12, right? On his potential assists. So I'm liking Tatum here at 5.5. Being that his potential assists are so high at 13, maybe there's a real chance for Jason Tatum to get there with 6 assists tonight. Let's just take a look and see what he's been up to. At 5.5 throughout the playoffs, you've seen him hit in 5 out of 8 games. Against Milwaukee, games 1 and 2 were good. He got 6 and 8 assists in those. But then games 3 and 4, we saw his assists drop to 3 and 5, respectively. So he's now 50% in this series going up against Milwaukee. But the fact that he is leading the team in potential assists means that there's potential for him to go over 5.5 on any given night. Really comes down to his teammates knocking down shots. But he's projected for 5.6 dimes. Out on your favorite sports books, not really seeing a whole lot of action on this prop, over or under. So we don't really know what the betting public plans on doing with this prop, but he is leading the way for the Boston Celtics in potential assists. So if you're going to take a shot on any assist prop for the Boston Celtics, it would probably be Jason Tatum would probably be my favorite one. Now let's flip this around. Let's remove the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's remove the Boston Celtics. We'll change this and look at Milwaukee real quick. Click run it. And you can see for Milwaukee, their potential assists throughout the playoffs are kind of spread out, right? You got Giannis sitting up here. He's leading the way at 14 potentials. Chris Middleton, 13.5 potentials, but that's just 2 games played. And then Drew Holiday, he's third at 12 potential assists. So that gives you an idea who's kind of the front runners. Now let's add the Boston Celtics into the mix and click run it. Once we run this report, you can see very clearly that Giannis is absolutely number 1 on his team in potential assists, 13.5 through 4 playoff games against the Celtics now. Right behind him is Drew Holiday at 9.8 potential assists. So both of these guys are at a 6.5 assist prop line. I would obviously take a shot on the guy who has much higher potential assists than the other guy. So all things being equal here, both of these guys at 6.5, wouldn't you want the guy who's getting more opportunities, more potential assists? So I think if you're going to look at an assist prop, give some consideration to Giannis. Now that we know that, we can take a look at Giannis and see how often he's actually hit at 6.5 assists. Throughout the playoffs, he's done a pretty decent job. He's now 6 for 9 in this series. He is 3 for 4, 75%. So Giannis has been doing a pretty good job here on his assist prop. 12 in game 1, 7 and 8 in games 2 and 3. Now he did flop here in game 4 with just 5. But as you can see throughout the playoffs, when he has a bad assist game, he usually bounces back in the next one. Had 3 against Chicago in game 1, came back with 9. Had 3 against Chicago here, came back in the next game in the series against Boston with 12. So I could see a situation where maybe Giannis bounces back with 7 or 8 assists tonight. I could absolutely see him bouncing back. Let's get you a projection on Giannis. Projected for 7.3 assists, which is more than 6.5. And at 6.5, we are seeing some good action here. Over. Minus 140. The betting public's liking Giannis to go over 6.5 assists. So as far as assists go from this game, Giannis over 6.5 or Tatum over 5.5. Both of those guys look like they would be top contenders if I were to play any assist props from that game. Taking a look at the late night game, let's go ahead and clear these teams out. We'll start with the Golden State Warriors. We'll take a look at who's leading the way for them in potential assists, just to get an idea of, where the opportunities are going to come from. Now, this might surprise some of you folks. Draymond Green, through 9 playoff games, is actually leading the Golden State Warriors in potential assists. Not Jordan Poole, not Steph Curry, but Draymond Green with 14 potential assists per game through 9 playoff games. So what does that mean? That means he needs to go 50%. He needs to convert at a 50% clip on his 14 potential assists for him to hit 7 tonight. Not bad, right? 14 potentials, he needs to convert on 7 out of 14. So he's definitely leading the way by far in potential assists at 6.5. I mean, you've also got Curry at 6.5. But who would you feel better about taking the over on? Curry at 6.5, he's just averaging 8.1 potential assists through the playoffs right now. I mean, 8.1 potential assists. He's going to have to go 7 for 8. That's really asking a lot. That's really asking a lot. Maybe Curry for an under. How's that sound? Got to go 7 for 8. Let's take a closer look at this. We'll change this from all playoff games. We'll just look at the games against the Memphis Grizzlies and see if anything changes at all in this series. Now, once we do that, you could still see that Draymond Green is absolutely leading the way in potential assists. 13.3 potentials in this series against Memphis, 4 games played. Now, right behind him is Jordan Poole. At 11 potential assists, he needs to find 5. So we need a less than 50% conversion rate for Jordan Poole for him to hit the over at 11 potential assists. I like that. I don't mind that at all. I think I'd rather take a shot on Jordan Poole than I would a guy like Steph Curry. Steph in this series, 9 potential assists. Again, he's going to have to convert on 7 of those 9 potentials. So for me, I would be leaning toward the under on Curry based on what we know so far. So I would either take a shot on Draymond or Jordan Poole over. Curry would probably be an under for me. So let's take a look at a couple of these guys real quick. We'll start with Draymond Green, being that he's got the highest potential assist number on the board. We can take a look and see what he's done here throughout the playoffs. He is 4 for 9. Not the greatest hit rate, 44%. So despite leading the Golden State Warriors in potential assists, those potentials are not converting at a very high clip, apparently, being that he's only hit the over at 6.5 in 4 of 9 games. Now, against Memphis, a little bit better than 44%. He's 50% in this series against the Grizzlies. Hit it in games 2 and 3 with 7 and 8. Missed in games 1 and 4 with 3 and 5. So you're going to look at the hit rates for Draymond Green, and you're probably not going to feel very good about it. But a projection for Green tonight, 8.2. If his teammates can knock down some of these potential assists that he's dishing out, then he should be fine. He should be right there at 7 assists or more. He is a betting favorite at minus 130 and minus 143. So the betting public is liking Draymond Green to go over 6.5 dimes. The other guy that is a top contender for me, if you want to take the over on an assist prop, would be this young man, Jordan Poole. We looked at his potential assists in this series. It's sitting out there at 11. 11 potentials. He needs to find 5 out of 11. I like his chances of going 5 of 11. I think. I mean, it sounds pretty doable to me. With all the great shooters and scorers on this Golden State Warriors team, if he's going to get 11 potentials tonight, then I like his potential to go over. And more often than not in this series, he has gone over 4.5 assists. He's 3 for 4 against Memphis, 75% hit rate. Important to note that the games that he did go over happened to, 2 of them happen to be in Memphis, which is where they're playing tonight. So on the road, games 1 and 2, 9 and 5 assists. I don't mind you taking a shot over Jordan Poole at 4.5, 75% hit rate in this series. Jumping ahead here, taking a look at a projection for Jordan Poole. I've got him projected for 4.8. That's more than 4.5. And again, just like Draymond Green, the betting public liking the over on Jordan Poole as well. They're betting it up at minus 130. So I like that. So those two, if you're looking for overs, Green and Poole look like a move that you could make. Curry, I'd probably say either fade it or take the under. Just don't see him hitting 7 dimes tonight. Not on just 9 potential assists average. You're asking a lot. For Memphis, it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to kind of nail down who we should be taking for an assist prop. I mean, you got Bane, you got Brooks, you got Tyus Jones. Obviously, Ja Morant is out. We talked about that. I mean, if we go and take a look at what's going on with this Memphis Grizzlies squad throughout the playoffs, it's going to be a little skewed, right? Because Ja's played in most of the games. So obviously with Morant out there, he is absolutely dominating the potential assist category. He's got one of the highest potential assist numbers of any player in the playoffs. 17.2 potential assists. Now right behind him is Tyus Jones, who's at 6.5, but his potentials are at 7.8. Again, this is not a completely accurate number. It's accurate, but it's not telling the whole story, I guess you could say, because there is games that he's played without Ja. He's going to be in a bigger role, have more minutes. So let's see if we could drill down a little bit further. Here we go. Memphis versus Golden State specifically. Click run. This is all free, by the way. This is NBA.com. You guys can use this tool whenever you want. So we see what the potential assists look like. Again, Ja's leading the way. 3 games played against Golden State, 18.3 potentials. Tyus Jones is right behind him, though, at 7.8. Let me see if I could take this down a little bit further here. See if there's a way to filter this down to just the last game. Guess we would want to go road, right? Well, I was able to filter it down just a little bit more, a little bit further. Tyus Jones still sitting at 9 potential assists. Can't get a real accurate number as far as how many potentials he had in the last game. I could probably dig down into this a little bit further, but I won't just for time's sake. That at least gives you an idea. Tyus Jones should be one that's probably on your radar as far as an assist option if you wanted to go Tyus Jones. Being that we have kind of somewhat skewed data, being that Ja Morant is out and has only been out for 1 playoff game, I'm just going to get you a projection. We won't dig too deep into this one. If you're going to play this prop, play it sparingly, but he's projected for 8.1 assists. At 6.5, it looks like the public, again, is just torn on this one. Being bet under on some sites, over on others, but he'd probably be the leading candidate for me on an assist prop for Memphis. So let's go ahead and jump forward and we'll look at some rebound props. Is there any rebounders that you guys are really liking? I know Brook Lopez has been smashing his rebound prop. He's been doing a good job. There's my man, Playoff P, Pat Connaughton at 4.5 rebounds. Hello, buddy. Hello there, my friend. That might be a good one to look at. Let's start with Brook Lopez, though. I think that's a good start. Let me look at the rebound trends here real quick. All right, so we got Drew Holiday at 4.5 boards. We're getting him at 5 on PrizePicks, but 4.5, he's at like a 78% hit rate throughout the playoffs, so that one's looking pretty sweet. There's a reason why he was bumped up from 4.5 to 5. Giannis at 12.5 has been bumped up to 13, 55.6% hit rate. Everybody else throughout the playoffs is down there around like 55% or lower. But let's start with Brook Lopez at 6. Because I know Lopez has been a very popular rebound prop. I don't really trust him for points, but at 6 rebounds, he's hit this in 4 straight games now. Every game against Boston, he's hit 6 or more rebounds. So technically, he's 4 for 4 at 6 rebounds or better. So if it were me, I would probably take the over on Brook Lopez. Hopefully, he finds at least 6, but more often than not, against the Celtics, he's going for 7 or more. I mean, 10 rebounds in a couple of these games, right? So I think Lopez for the over on 6 rebounds is not a bad way to go. Guy's 4 for 4 against Boston, seems to just rebound the ball very well against the Celtics. So I don't mind that one at all. I can see why Lopez would be a very popular play. At 5.5 boards, he's being bet over. Minus 120, minus 135, minus 141. He is also a 6 rebound projection. So there's a chance it ties or pushes, but I think we take our chances with that. We take the over and just ride with Brook Lopez. Drew Holiday, Kevin's mentioning Drew. Kevin's also saying that might be best if you wait for the Robert Williams news before you play Lopez. If Williams is out, it just makes that play that much better. I mean, true. You would imagine that it would get a little easier for Lopez without Williams, but even with Williams in, I mean, my man still pulled in 10 rebounds, 6 boards. Like he's hitting with or without Williams, but I get what you're saying. It would just be that extra little sweetener on top of that 6 rebound prop. Let's look at Drew Holiday, though. He's at 5 rebounds. I told you guys, like Brook Lopez, he was bumped up from 4.5 to 5. But at 5, we shouldn't be too discouraged by it, because we've seen Drew Holiday time in, time again now hit 5 or more rebounds. He's hit in, 7 of 9 games? 5 rebounds or more in 7 of 9 playoff games. Against this Boston Celtics team, he is now 3 for 4, so 75% in this series so far. So I think Drew Holiday makes for a nice little rebound prop if you wanted to take Lopez or Holiday. I think both of them look pretty good. He's projected for 5.7 rebounds. Not 5.5. The public's backing off of this prop. What do I mean by they're backing off? Well, he's at 5.5 on the books, but he's being bet under now at minus 160, minus 155. So there's a chance that maybe he lands on 5 and you end up in a tie. But for me, I would take the chance on the over, being that he's hitting the over more often than not. Now, this guy, we talked about him pretty extensively in the last video. We talked about Bobby Portis's minutes were trending down. Pat Connaughton's minutes were trending up. And I said, if Pat Connaughton continues to get 30 plus minutes, I think we need to continue to hit the over on Pat Connaughton's props. So let's take a look at the newly minted playoff P. See if I got any information here for you on props.cash for Pat Connaughton at 4.5 rebounds. There we go. So taking a look at Pat Connaughton in the playoffs, we're going to start with the rebounds here. Last 2 games for Connaughton, he's played 30-ish or more minutes, I want to say. 8 rebounds in game 3, 7 rebounds in game 4. So he's now 75% in this series. 5 in game 1. We saw his minutes go up in games 3 and games 4. Yeah, like I said before, if this guy's going to keep getting 30 minutes, we got to keep hitting the overs on his props. 4.5 rebounds isn't quite high enough. Pending Pat Connaughton plays 30 minutes again tonight like he did in game 3 and game 4. 32 and 30 minutes, ended up with 8 and 7 rebounds. Give me Pat Connaughton for 30 plus minutes, and I'll take the over on a lot of his props. So that's looking really nice if you wanted to take the over on Connaughton there. I think that's going to be one of my favorite plays. Again, it all really boils down to how many minutes he's going to get. We don't really know exactly how many minutes he's going to get. We can only make an assumption that what we saw in games 3 and 4 is a new trend forming for Pat Connaughton and his minutes tonight. Hopefully they don't pull the rug out from underneath us. But if he's going to get 30 minutes, I'm taking the over at 4.5 rebounds. He's projected for 5.2. At 4.5, they're betting the under. Oh, ye of little faith. Pat Connaughton, if he's out there playing 30 minutes, I'm taking the over there. So I think that's going to do it for this. Unless you guys have any Celtics props that you're liking. Celtics rebound props. Yeah, Isaac. Connaughton's been doing work, man. They're going to keep giving his minutes. We got to take it. Kevin says, I recommended Holiday last game too. Sorry about that. He deferred a lot of rebounds that game and just chose not to grab the ball. It was really weird, but he's been back to his aggressive self. Good to know. Good to know. So yeah, I mean, just to recap, Brook Lopez over rebounds, Drew Holiday over rebounds, Pat Connaughton over rebounds all look like solid options. I think this guy, he's going to go under the radar because people aren't digging into his minutes logs and seeing what he's been up to. But 30 plus minutes in back-to-back games, like I said, unless Budenholzer pulls the rug out from under us and for some reason tonight he only gets 20 minutes, then, maybe he goes under. But he has hit the over in 3 out of 4 games, so I like that. Otherwise, yeah, any Boston Celtics rebound props that you guys are liking? Because we've talked pretty extensively about Milwaukee, but we haven't shown Boston any love. Todd's saying that Giannis rebounds are always great at home, but risky now. Yeah, I'm probably not going to go there. There wasn't a whole lot of Celtics hitting their rebound props at a high clip in the playoffs. I mean, you see Milwaukee, they're the top 4 hit rates from this series. Al Horford at 9.5 boards, 50%. He's at 9, though, on PrizePicks, so we're getting maybe a little bit of value on Al Horford. There you go. Benny's talking about a little bit of Al Horford. Be helpful if I spelled Al Horford's name right? Let's take a look at Al Horford's rebounds. So we're getting Al Horford at 9 boards, which really doesn't help his hit rates a whole lot. You see what he's done in this series so far. Games 1, 2, and 3, 10, 11, and 16. Now, game 4, was without Robert Williams, right? You thought maybe Al Horford would rebound better without Robert Williams, but no, not the case. He actually went under his rebound prop, finishing with 8, but he's now 75% in this series. Maybe he's due for a little bounce back tonight, possibly. Could see it. I could see it happening. He's projected for 10 boards. He's at 9.5 rebounds on the books, but they're betting the under. So we are getting half a rebound value. Instead of 9.5, we're getting him at 9. So I think Horford over 9 rebounds is fine. I think that's a good look. If you're going to take any Celtics, maybe it's Al Horford. Yeah, the big happy Al. Yeah. Skylar says, hey, CJ, your MLB picks on Patreon have been fire. You guys got to join. It's well worth it. Appreciate you, Skylar. Thanks for dropping by and leaving that feedback for me. Let's move on to the next game, though. Golden State, Memphis. Let's take a look at those hit rates real quick. Let's see who's been getting the boards and who hasn't. Andrew Wiggins is at 5.5 rebounds. We've seen him hit this prop in the playoffs about 78% of the time. That's a pretty darn good hit rate. Jaren Jackson Jr., some of you guys call him Triple J. He's got a 50% hit rate in the playoffs. We saw Steven Adams get a lot more run in that last game, right? I don't know if I'm ready to go there as far as taking him over at 9.5 boards, but it's good to see Steven Adams back out there. Desmond Bane. That's not Desmond Bane. Where is Desmond Bane? He's not on. Oh, there he is. He's up at the top here. Little muscle hamster. Desmond Bane. 3.5 rebounds. 50% hit rate for him. The rest of these guys are hitting at a pretty poor rate. I mean, 44.4 for Poole, 40 for Tyus Jones. Draymond, just 33%. So I'm not really interested in too many of these other ones as far as an over goes. Wiggins. I think Wiggins probably has to be front and center, right? Being that he's hitting in about 78% of his playoff games. So let's talk about Andrew Wiggins real quick. There's not a lot that I love, though, from this game in terms of rebounds, truthfully. But Andrew Wiggins at 5.5 rebounds. Throughout the playoffs, 5 for 9. In this playoff series against Memphis, though, he is now 75%. Game 3 wasn't so good to him. Had just 3 rebounds in that one. But we've seen him pull in 8 boards in Game 1, 9 in Game 2, 10 in Game 4. So, I mean, this guy's got tremendous rebound potential at 8, 9, and 10. So we'll forgive him for Game 3 where he had just 3 rebounds, right? We could forgive him there. Maybe we go back to Wiggins again today. If you want to take a Warriors rebound prop, what better one to take than this one, right? Now, his projection today is 5.2, so, he's right there around 5 or 6 rebounds. And then the public also really liking Andrew Wiggins to find 6 boards tonight. Minus 145, minus 143 to go over. So I don't mind that one. Is there anything else, though, that's really standing out to you guys? Yeah, Benny, muscle hamster. I think the first person I've ever heard referred to as the muscle hamster was an NFL player. Do you know the name of the NFL player? A little trivia question. Let's see if you get it right. Who was the muscle hamster in the NFL? Probably played within the last 10 years, we'll say. He was in the league. I don't think he's on any NFL team anymore. I think his career is pretty much over. Boom. Paul, Kevin. No, it was not Maurice Jones-Drew. Paul and Kevin, no. It was Tampa Bay Buccaneer Doug Martin. Doug Martin. The muscle hamster. That's right. He actually got popped for PEDs at one point in his career down here in Tampa Bay. So those muscles, I don't know if they were all natural. I don't know if they were all his. They were enhanced, let's just say. But yeah, it was Dougie Martin. Anyway, let's move on from these rebound props because I just don't think that there's a whole lot more for us to discuss there. PRA, is there any PRA plays that you guys are thinking about taking tonight And if so, why and who and where and how? Let's take a look at some PRA hit rates first and foremost. Wesley Matthews at 8.5 PRA, 67% hit rate, but we're getting him at 9.5 on PrizePicks. So paying a little bit more here at 9.5. I'm sure the hit rates go down a little bit at 9.5, but Giannis at 52.5 PRA. We're getting him at 50.5. So 2 PRA different than what we're seeing on props.cash. So maybe a little value there on Giannis, but just a 44% hit rate. And really a lot of the guys from this game are not hitting their PRA at a very good hit rate. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins just got busted for some PEDs, but he's like a beanpole. It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not like he's walking around with, you guys remember David Boston, throwing it back a little bit. David Boston, former wide receiver, drafted by the Arizona Cardinals. Now that guy had to be on something. If you ever saw the arms on David Boston, the physique of David Boston. I think he was also with the Chargers for a little bit, spent some time with the Buccaneers. David Boston was a freak. If you ever saw his arms, guy was crazy. David Boston was a monster. Another Buccaneer, Michael Pittman, Thomas Jones, spent some time with the Bucs. Those guys, they had some guns too. I mean, those are your like Mount Rushmore of gun show right there. David Boston, Michael Pittman, Doug Martin. Throwing it back on you guys on some old school NFL players. What about, Kevin says, I'm a Chargers fan. Why you bring up Boston? That guy, he was a specimen, wasn't he? David Boston was a freaking specimen. Brady Quinn. I don't know if Brady Quinn makes it on the Mount Rushmore of the gun show, Paul. But shout out to Brady Quinn. Anyways, what are we liking? Anything for PRA? You guys want to go back to Grant Williams PRA? Doggone it, man. Do we have to? He sold, man. He sold us in the last game, didn't he? I didn't play it, but I think he broke some people's hearts. Is Grant Williams going to pay up tonight after selling in game 4? I mean, there's an obsession here with Grant Williams at 14.5 PRA. Didn't get it done in the last game. But you guys are saying, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's forgive and forget. Let's jump back in bed with Grant Williams and his points, rebounds, and assists. He missed it by 2, right? Finished with 13 PRA. He's now 4 for 8 in the playoffs, so 50%. It's not sexy. We look at the last 4 games against Milwaukee, 50% there, not sexy. You guys, I don't know, some of you may some of you may have forgotten Marcus Smart was out for game 2, which undoubtedly helped Grant Williams find more minutes, find more points, rebounds, and assists. Right? Marcus Smart was out for game 2. So this big 28 PRA, I don't know if we're ever going to see him do that again. Let's just look at this situation here for Grant Williams, all right? 28 minutes in game 1. No Smart in game 2, ends up seeing a playoff high 35 minutes. No coincidence there. 33 minutes, almost 34 minutes in game 3. But then in game 4, my man had just 24.8 minutes. Played less than 25 minutes. Field goal attempts, not really going to shoot the ball a whole lot. You know, you're lucky if he finds 10 shots like he did in game 2. Again, that was probably a symptom of no Marcus Smart. Shot the ball 14 times, 7 of 14. In games with Marcus Smart, 6, 9, and 9. No Robert Williams in the game 4, right? No Robert Williams, but still only saw 24.8 minutes. Only shot the ball 9 times, was 3 for 9. 21 points in game 2 without Smart. The games with Smart, 8, 9, and 9 points. Rebounds, 4 to 5 typically. No Robert Williams, he only found 4 rebounds. But what was this guy's problem? A little bit of foul trouble, I guess, but I mean, he had foul trouble in game 3 too, still played a healthy amount of minutes. 4 fouls in game 4, less fouls than he had in game 3. Didn't get the job done, though. You guys take him if you want to. I'm going to stay away. I think as the series gets closer and closer to coming to a conclusion, that the Boston Celtics are going to lean more heavily on their star players. Smart, Tatum, Brown, Horford. Like, those are going to be your main guys. Like, Grant Williams might find some crumbs laying around on the ground. Take him if you want to take him. He's projected for 13.6. The public likes a bounce back for Grant Williams at 14.5 PRA. I don't like him if he's going to play 25 minutes or less. He needs to be out there for 30. Yash Gammy says, these guys selling better than Saul Goodman. Man, I am watching Better Call Saul right now, rewatching it now that it's on Netflix and everything. What a fantastic show. If you're a fan of Breaking Bad, man, go watch Better Call Saul. Tremendous television show. Anyway, you guys go ahead and go back to Grant Williams. I'm going to stay away from him. Do we think that Robert Williams is playing tonight? John Morrill wants to know, will Robert Williams play tonight? He didn't play in the last game. Maybe he gets good and he's out there tonight, but I don't know. I think I'm going to stay away from Grant Williams either way. Pat Connaughton. Can't say enough about this young man. Cannot say enough about Pat Connaughton. If he's going to continue to get 30 plus minutes, most of his props will be overplays for me. We've seen what he's done in the last two games when he received 30 plus minutes in both of those games. 20 PRA, 18 PRA. There's probably better ways to play Pat Connaughton than his PRA, like his points perhaps. He's now hit his point prop of 9.5 in 3 straight games. A little higher hit rate than the PRA. The rebounds, we talked about those, 75% hit rate for Connaughton. Again, this is all assuming that this guy is going to play 30 minutes, which we don't know. We're not in the coaching room. We don't know what's going to happen, but let's make believe that he's going to play 30 minutes or more tonight. 3-point makes. He's made 3 in back-to-back games. So, yeah, pretty much everything for Pat Connaughton is going to be in play for me if we assume that he's going to be out there for 30 or more minutes. But anyway, playoff P. This is the real playoff P. No Paul George. We need a new playoff P. It's this guy, Pat Connaughton. So, yeah, you could definitely go PRA for Pat if you wanted to, but there's other ways that I probably would play Pat instead of his PRA. Otherwise, I mean, is there any other PRAs just in general tonight that you guys are liking? Like I said, a lot of these guys are not hitting their PRA prop from this Milwaukee-Boston game at a very high clip. We look at Golden State, Memphis. I mean, the top hitters are, 55%. Wiggins, Poole, Curry. From there, it gets pretty ugly pretty quick. Bane, Green, Jackson. I mean, all these guys are 40% or below. Charles is saying, what about Dillon Brooks under PRA? We talked a little bit about Dillon Brooks the other day, and I mentioned Dillon Brooks, not a great score on the road. Dillon Brooks at home, better score. So, I don't know that I want to take the under on Dillon Brooks because, like I said, we looked at it. I'll go back and show you guys again. For those who might have missed it, we'll look at Dillon Brooks this season, games without Ja Morant. All right, and then we'll also, let's start with his points. We'll change the splits to home, 70% hit rate, 7 of 10 in games without Ja Morant for Dillon Brooks points. At 19.5. 7 of 10 hit rate. Excuse me. So, yeah, he's got a much better hit rate at home than he does on the road without Ja. On the road without Ja, he is 45%. So that's pretty significant. 45% on the road, 70% at home. and they are playing at Memphis tonight. So that's Dillon Brooks' points without Ja. Now, what about his PRA? Because that's the one you guys were asking about. He's at 27.5 PRA. We got to bump him up here on props.cash. 40% hit rate at home on his PRA at 27.5 without Ja Morant. So I don't know that I love that. Away at 27.5, just a 36% hit rate. So still, he's hitting at a higher rate at home than he is on the road. But yeah, if you wanted to go under on Dillon Brooks at 27.5 PRA, I'm not mad at that. Now, if you're looking for an over on Dillon Brooks, then maybe you take a stab at the over on his points. 70% hit rate this season without Ja at home. So that could be a move. But yeah, maybe you go under on Dillon Brooks' PRA then. Got Brooks projected for 31.4. That's more than 27.5. Don't know that I'm completely buying into that projection. It seems a bit high to me, but at 27.5, he's being bet under. So it's win or go home, Memphis. It's win or go home. Somebody's going to have to step up. Trey16 is saying Bane under PRA at 24.5. Let's look at that one. Guys are liking a whole lot of unders from this Memphis Grizzlies squad, huh? Desmond Bane throughout the playoffs so far is now a, let's see, what's his hit rate? He's now at 40%. He is 0-for-4 against Golden State on PRA props. Sheesh, is that ugly. 11, 12, 21, and 15 PRA. 0-for-4. That's terrible. So I could definitely see why you would want to potentially take an under on Desmond Bane. Let's see what happens without Ja Morant. At 24.5 for Bane, 52% hit rate on the season. That's got to go up, right? Without Ja, you would imagine it's got to go up from 52%. 67% at 24.5 PRA without Ja. That's not bad. Now at home, 64%. Okay. Away, 69%. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, gang. I don't trust Desmond Bane based on what we've seen against this Golden State Warriors squad. He's now played 2 games without Ja. 27 PRA back at the end of March. 15 PRA against Golden State 2 days ago. So 50%, but he's looked terrible in this series. I know he was dealing with some sort of injury or something like that, so maybe he's not completely healthy. Maybe there's something that we don't know about that's affecting Desmond Bane, other than the Golden State Warriors just being a better team. But Bane's projected for 31.7 PRA. Excuse me while I take a moment to laugh. Nearly 32 PRA? Are you kidding me? No. How? There's no way. That's too high. I'm sorry. I would be taking, if his prop line was at 32 PRA, let's just say, I'm definitely taking the over on that. There ain't no way I'm buying into a projection of 31.7 PRA. Seeing what this guy's done through 4 games, right? He'd have to have the game of his life tonight. He'd have to shoot lights out, go bonkers. I don't know if I trust this dude to go over 24.5 PRA, but the public likes it. I mean, they're betting it over, minus 120, minus 115. So take your chances if you want on Desmond Bane, but I ain't messing with it. That's for sure. Tyus Jones, we mentioned his assists. I see the prop plug mentioning him for a PRA play. You're liking the over on the PRA there, buddy? Mr. Prop Plug? Let's take a look at it. Can we get more Tyus? Dun, dun, dun. He's at 24.5 PRA. Dun, 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 dun. He hit 30 in the last game, so there's that. I mean, the first game without Ja in this series, he had 30 PRA. Can we get more Tyus? Maybe. Maybe we can get more Tyus. 24.5 PRA, though, in the playoffs. I mean, my man is now just 1 for 10. 1 for 10. What about this season without Ja Morant? Let's take a look at that. Let's see how good he's done. 14% for the season. We take Morant out, he jumps up to a 38% hit rate, but it's still not the sexiest looking hit rates in the world, right? 9 for 24. So yeah, I don't know, man. I probably like Tyus a little bit better, like maybe just purely for assists. But those of you who want to take the over, can we get more Tyus? He's projected for 28.4 PRA. He hit 24.5. I mean, he's being bet under. So the public ain't really liking him either at 24.5. So I'm going to stay away from it. Let's move on from PRA. 3-point makes. This guy right here, he has now sold you down the river at 3.5 3-point makes in back-to-back games. It's tonight the night where finally Jason Tatum comes home. Told you guys in the last game, if he sold you in the last game, you got to go back tonight. I'm going to go back tonight. I don't think he's going to sell us 3 games in a row. But Chris Paul did on his point prop, right? So anything could happen. If 50 bunked Vivica, right? Let's look at this guy, Jason Tatum. He's projected for 3.6 3-point makes. At 3.5, the betting public has lost all faith in this man. They don't believe he's going to make 4 3-pointers tonight. They don't think he's going to do it. Time to bet the whole house on Jason Tatum. This guy has not hit his 3-point prop in back-to-back games. After starting off the series so strong with 4 and 5 3-point makes, he is now 0 for his last 2. It's time, baby. It's time for Jason Tatum to put the money back in our pockets. Let's look at these attempts for this guy. They're down a little bit, right? 0 for 6 in game 3. He came back. He said, I'm going to shoot it 10 times tonight from beyond the arc. 3 for 10. We needed 4 for 10. We needed 4 for 10. He didn't give it to us. But boy, being that he is now sold in 2 games in a row, I want to go back so bad. I want to go back so bad. I'm not even going to lie. I want to go back to Jason Tatum over 3.5 3-point makes. Slightly projected to go over. The public, again, they don't like Jason Tatum going over. What about these other guys on the board? Any of these other 3-point props that we're really feeling out here? JP? Jordan Poole, maybe? I don't know. Let's look at Milwaukee, Boston first. Al Horford is up on the board at 2 3-point makes. So if you think that he's going to continue to be the sniper that we've seen in the last 2 games, maybe you take Al Horford over 2 3-point makes. Oh, here we go. Grant Williams. America's favorite sellout after game 4, right? Grant Williams. Going back to Grant Williams. Jaquan, man, I don't know, buddy. Don't know if I can do it, man. Grant Williams, he's going to be out there hitting threes. Ooh. Lord help me. I got to have my Tums ready. Grant Williams is going to give me heartburn tonight. Grant Williams has not went over 1.5 3-point makes in his last 2 games. Started off the series strong. Game 1, he hit 2. Game 2, without Marcus Smart, I'm going to keep saying it, he hit 6 threes in that one, but just 1 and 1 in the last 2 games. Hell no, man. I ain't trusting this guy. 4 threes in game 1, shot 2 for 4. Game 2, he shot 9, went 6 for 9. What a fluke. He ain't doing that again. 1 for 6 in game 3, 1 for 5 in game 4. I ain't trusting this guy. I ain't playing him. Al Horford, though. Now, this might be a prop. Again, if you think Milwaukee continues to let Al Horford have his from beyond the arc, then maybe you go here. He needs 2 3-point makes or more. He's been getting the job done throughout the playoffs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 8 at 2 3-point makes or better. He is now 75% in this series. He hit 4 in game 1, bad game in game 2, 4 in game 3, 5 in game 4. So maybe we take a shot at Big Al. If you think he continues to eat, he loves that little corner 3. Hey, man. Take the over, right? Projected for 1.9, so he's right there, right around 2. At 2.5, though, they're betting the under pretty big here, minus 185 to go under 2.5. So there's a chance. There's a chance that he ties or pushes at 2 3-point makes. But that's okay. Even if he does that, we're cool with that. We already talked about playoff P, Pat Connaughton. Give me 30 minutes, Pat, and I'll take the over on all of your props, including your 3-point makes. I think that's a good look as well. What about this Golden State-Memphis game? Any of these 3-point shooters that we're trusting? Let's look at the hit rates for these guys. Jordan Poole leading the way at 2.5. He's got a 55% hit rate. Dylan Brooks, he ain't up on the board. Steph at 3.5, just a 44% hit rate in the playoffs. Draymond's not up here. Clay, 3.5, 44%. We're getting him at 3. A little bit of value there on that one. Desmond Bane, Jaquan's saying under. Under on Desmond Bane. I mean, he's been struggling, guys. If he's going to do anything, though, I could see him knocking down a couple of threes. If he's going to do anything tonight, I could see him taking and making some threes. I know he hasn't really done it in the series. He is now just 1 for 4. I think I'd rather take the under on his points than his 3-point makes, because he could very well just make 3 threes, 4 threes, and still stay under his points prop. So I think for me, I would rather take the under elsewhere on Desmond Bane, like his PRA or his points. So if there's one thing this guy is going to do, it's going to be shoot. 5, 4, 7, and 4. Gotta imagine he's going to have to attempt more shots. But again, if he's not right, then shoot, take the under on everything. But he did hit 4 threes in game 3. So there's always a chance with Desmond Bane, being that his game is so 3-point heavy, that, you know, he knocks down 3 threes tonight. So for me, I'd rather take the under on, you know, another prop like the PRA or the points. But yeah, not a lot to love here. I think the ones that are standing out to me, if you've got the cojones, maybe you take the over on Jason Tatum at 3.5. Horford's looking pretty solid at 2. I like the over there. I like Pat Connaughton over 2. Don't trust Grant Williams. I'm just going to fade him. You guys seem to like him, so I'm just going to fade him. Free throw makes. Quickly look at these. Giannis, he's always a free throw make contender. His issue hasn't really been attempts. It's been makes. He's been shooting a pretty poor percentage from the free throw line in this series against Boston. So he's going to keep getting to the line. He just needs to make the most of his opportunities, which he hasn't really been doing. Tatum, not really going to be a free throw play for me. Drew Holiday, maybe, but there's games where Drew Holiday just kind of disappears and is not attacking the hoop. This guy's been doing pretty good, though. Jaylen Brown, the last 2 games, 10 and 6. That's not bad. It could be worth a look. Curry's been doing pretty well in his last 2 games, 14 and 8, respectively. So you could go there. Desmond Bane. Yeah, no thanks. We're going to call him Desmond Payne. So if you play any overs on Desmond Bane, that's what will follow. Payne. Blocks and steals. I'm not going to do it. I'm not taking any overs on Desmond Bane, not even his blocks and steals. Klay Thompson at 1.5. He's actually been doing a pretty good job covering his stocks prop. 4 out of his last 5, 3 out of 4 in this series, 75% hit rate. So maybe you go there. These props, though, blocks and steals, so unpredictable. But Steven Adams, he recorded 2 stocks in his first real game back. Just steals. Wes Matthews 3 for 5. Poole, no. 1 for 5. Adams, nah. I mean, these are just so volatile. What do you guys think about this new category? Let's talk about this because this is the first time we've been able to discuss turnovers on the stream. What do we think about these turnover props? Anybody got any strategies? Have you played any of them? I think that just made its debut yesterday. Did you guys take any overs or unders on turnover props yesterday? I'd like to hear your ideas, your thoughts on this. I will tell you this. Props.cash does offer information about turnovers. They do have turnover data on props.cash. So if you're not using props.cash and you want to do some turnover research, sign up for props.cash. Use code Curry. You save 25% off your first month of props.cash. So, yeah, they do have turnover data available on props.cash. Pretty cool. Al Horford is actually leading the way in turnovers. He's hit over 0.5 turnovers in 75% of his playoff games. He's not up on the board, but Marcus Smart is at 2.5. 71% hit rate from Marcus Smart. So maybe if you want to take the over on a playoff or on a turnover here, Marcus Smart 71% of the time is going for 3 turnovers or more. So he's got a pretty high turnover hit rate. Brook Lopez not up on the board. He's also pretty high at 66.7%. The rest of these guys are like 55% or below. So out of the ones that we can actually choose from, I guess Marcus Smart would be your top guy, being that he is hitting at almost 72% throughout the playoffs. So that could be a move. Do I have turnover projections? No, I don't. That would be cool, though. No turnover projections. But Smart, again, the guy who's turning the ball over at the highest rate, according to props.cash. Golden State and Memphis, Jordan Poole at 2.5 turnovers. He ain't up on the board. No Jordan Poole. Dillon Brooks, he's at 2 turnovers. He hits this in about 56% of his games in the playoffs so far. Rest of these guys are all like 44% or below. Jeremiah says that JaVale McGee and Victor Oladipo hit their turnover props. Charles is saying that Trae Young turnovers was a lock during that Heat game. No doubt. No doubt. Jaquan says, I use props.cash on the daily. Me too. Jaws liking Tyus Jones for PRA, and he's liking Steven Adams for fantasy points. Kevin, he's saying some Dillon Brooks and Andrew Wiggins for turnovers could be a move. Jaws also liking Andrew Wiggins for rebounds. I agree. I think Andrew Wiggins rebounds looks pretty good. But that's pretty much it, gang. Good luck tonight. Like I said, man, the NBA playoffs have been a wild ride, so don't go too crazy. All right, pace yourselves. There's a lot of other good sports going on PrizePicks too, so, take some shots on some NBA picks, but I wouldn't go too heavy. As we get closer and closer to the finals, I mean, it's just going to get more and more difficult. So, don't go stupid heavy on NBA player props tonight. Lots of MLB going on. As we mentioned before, there's a $25 risk-free MLB promo going on right now, meaning you can make a, 5-pick flex and put $25 down on it. And if it doesn't cash, well, you'll get your $25 back. What I would do, though, on these risk-free picks, go for the gusto. What I mean by that is 4-pick power for $25. MLB. Got to be all MLB. You're either going to cash it or you're not, right? There's no, I would not flex. Let's clarify. I would not flex your risk-free entry. Would not flex it. Do a 2-pick power, do a 4-pick power, but don't flex it, because even if you get a partial winnings back, if you get partial winnings back, you won't get the $25 credit in promo funds. So make sure you power your MLB risk-free entry for $25. Either you hit, that would be fantastic, or you miss and you get your $25 back in promo funds. So make sure you do a power play. Don't flex it. So let's say you go 3 out of 5 on a $25 flex entry. You're going to get like 0.4x of your $25 back. Who wants that? We'd rather have the full $25 back in promo credits, right? So make sure that if you're going to play an MLB risk-free entry for $25, that it's a power entry. Anyway, just a little bit of strategy there. Ja, you're saying I should get into some WNBA? Maybe. I'm really focused on MLB right now, doing pretty well with the old baseball, but I'll give it some consideration, man. I appreciate you, though. Thank you so much for everybody being here. Drop a like on your way out if you haven't yet. We appreciate all the support. We're continuing to grow the channel together. Shout out to the community, Patreon members, Discord members, you guys watching from wherever you're watching from. Again, just tremendous support. I'm humbled. I'm blessed. I can't do this without you guys. So thank you again. And we'll catch you in the next one. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.